Okay, so today's class we are going to focus on solving ratio type equations. When we are working with these type of equations, you're going to see basically two ratios on either side of the equal sign. So we have to use our cross multiplication method, and we've used this before when we were doing our ratio unit. All right, so you multiply the top left with your bottom right, put it on one side of the equation, and then you're going to multiply your top right, multiply it by bottom left, put it on the other side of the equation, and then you can go ahead and solve the equation. So let's start with a simple one. Our first example, here we have x over 6 equals 3 over 2. So we're going to use cross multiplication. So that means we're going to multiply these two together, x times 2, put it on one side of the equation. So that gives me 2x equals, and then I'm going to multiply the other two like this, 6 times 3, and I'm just going to show here that I'm multiplying 6 times 3. And now we've gotten rid of the fractions. So now we can go ahead and work this out. So we have 2x is equal to 18. And lastly, this just looks like a type 1 equation. We just have to divide by 2, and we end up with x is equal to 18 divided by 2, which is 9. Okay, let's try the other example. We have 3x plus 5 over 4, and it equals to 7 over 2. So similar method. We're going to multiply this together, and we have to use brackets here because we have a 2 multiplying 3x plus 5. So you have to put that into brackets. And then we have the 4 times the 7 on the other side. 4 times 7, I'm just going to go ahead and write that down as 4 times 7, just so we have that step there. So let's multiply this out here. So this 2 has to multiply everything inside of the bracket, and then here the 4 has to multiply with the 7. So on the left side, 2 times 3x, that is 6x, and then 2 times the positive 5, that is positive 10. And on the right side, we have 4 times 7, which is 28. All right, we've seen this type now. It looks like a type 2 where we just have to get rid of this positive 10. So we're going to subtract 10. We're going to subtract 10. 10 minus 10 here, that's gone. Left side, we just have 6x. On the right side, we have 28 minus 10, which is 18. Now we just have to divide by 6 on both sides. 6x divided by 6 just leaves me with 1x, or just x. And then 18 divided by 6 is equal to 3. All right, so for this equation, I have done the cross multiplication, and I have just finished multiplying using distributive property. So I have 20x plus 8 is equal to 21x plus 3. So we are usually bringing our x over to the left-hand side, so we'll just do that here as well. So we're going to subtract 21x on both sides. Okay, sorry, something's just wrong with my pen there. So we end up here with negative, 1 second. All right, so 20x minus 21x, that's negative x or negative 1x. Then we have the plus 8, and it's equal to 3. So next we're going to subtract 8, subtract 8. So here we have then negative 1x is equal to 3 minus 8, which is negative 5. All right, so it is negative 1x is equal to negative 5. So we still haven't completely solved for x because we have to get rid of that negative 1. So we're going to divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. So that will cross out there on the left side because negative 1 divided by negative 1, now you're left with just x. So x is equal to negative 5 divided by negative 1, which is positive 5. So our answer is x is equal to positive 5. All right, so our next example, again, we're going to use cross multiplication. Make sure to use brackets. So we have the 6 multiplying by the y minus 5. And then we have this 3 multiplying by the y plus 3. We're putting it on the other side. All right, once you've gotten to this step, you can go ahead and use distributive property to multiply these brackets. I'll pause here. All right, so our next step, when we multiply, we're going to multiply the 6 with the y and 6 multiplied by negative 5. And over here, we're going to multiply 3 times y and 3 times the positive 3. So 6 times y, that is 6y. And then 6 times negative 5, that's negative 30. And then on the right side, we have 3 times y, which is 3y. And then 3 times positive 3, which is positive 9. So that is where you should be for your second step, or this next step here. All right, so our next step then, we'll take this 3y and we'll move it over to the left side. So we're going to subtract 3y and subtract it from the 6y. 3y minus 3y here, that's gone. So on the left side now, we have 6y minus 3y, which is 3y. And then we have the minus 30 is equal to 9. Okay, so next, we're still trying to get rid of or move this over to the other side. So it's a negative 30. So we're going to add 30 to both sides. And now we're left with 3y is equal to 39. And lastly, we have 3y, which is 3 times y. So we have to divide by 3. Divide by 3 on both sides. And that will leave us with 39 divided by 3, which is y is equal to 13.